Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2013. Here's the news for Panama for today. A report was released by the Gaming Commission with regards to gambling in Panama for 2012. The amount of the gambling increased by, the number was $2.1 billion total in the country, and that does not include the numbers of the national lottery. If you add the national lottery, it goes up to $2.6 billion. Now, these are all the casinos and slot machines and horse track, sports betting, all of this kind of activity is reported in this number, and it's up by about $500 million to $2.1 billion in 2012 over 2011. So gambling as an industry overall is growing in Panama. They're building 3 new casinos, full-blown casinos in Panama City that are going to be open this year, and it's something that tourists like to do. So it's a draw for Panama. Okay, here in the Panama America, we have a thing. In Bocas del Toro, on the not in the islands, but on the near Changuinola, they have opened basically a jungle school. It's an old facility that used to be used by the Panamanian military to teach them how to operate in the jungle, and it's now been converted to a tourist attraction. To teach, give tourists and visitors the opportunity to get out into the jungle and do things like, go hiking through the jungle or riding a canoe down a river in the rapids and just experience jungle. Because just jungle in general is one of the things that tourists and people that live, for example, in other parts of the world where there ain't no jungle get an opportunity to experience, what it's like to be out there in the bush. So. Anyway, that's making headlines. Okay, the Metro bus, they have these things they call transverse lines. Now, the Metro bus system basically works in a series of loops. So you have what they call a route, and then a bus on that route goes in a big circle all day long. Okay, so then you have the overlapping routes, so you can get off of one bus and get on another, and that's how you get from point A to point B. Well, all of the routes tend to be set up along the way the Panama City is laid out, which is basically long and generally east to west. The transverse routes kind of go north and south and connect all of those things. So you can go on a route here, then you can go up over, then you go over. So here's a transverse route. Well, they're now putting these things into operation. The Metro bus system is continuing to expand and cover more and more areas of Panama City. The date of 15 March is the last date for the Diablo Rojos, the old Red Devil school buses. They're all supposed to be gone off the streets by 15 March. Now, there are a couple of areas where yesterday the bus drivers for these things were out there closing roads and stuff because they haven't gotten paid yet. Well, there are some significant problems with some of the paperwork, fraud, and people trying to steal money and issue bogus documents in the last minute. So these guys that are out there protesting are probably thieves and crooks. Okay, so anyway, the government is working through that, and they're chopping these things up. And the last of the Diablo Rojos are supposed to be gone by the 15th of March. Now, there are still people out there operating buses illegally. They just drive them around and pick people up and stuff. It's going to be, this 15 March date is important because now the government will be able to easily spot and identify all of those illegal buses because there ain't supposed to be any of them out there running around. They had just yesterday, they busted a bunch of people that basically had a roaming party. They had a bunch of guys and like a bunch of underage girls, and they were doing racing down the middle of the street in a bus and shit. They just stopped the bus, confiscated it, busted all of them. So there's some crazy shit going on with these buses right now, but it should clear itself up here within the next couple of days. 15 March is the kicker date where all of the old Diablo Rojos are supposed to be gone. Okay. Also, in regards of cleaning things up in the Estrella, President Martinelli signed a resolution which closes a university known as the Oxford International University. Now, one of the things that the Minister of Education, Lucy Molinar, has been doing over the last couple of years is cranking down or closing down on these universities that many years ago, like back in 2005 or something, they got a permit to begin operations, and then the only thing they really have is a website. They don't have a physical school. They don't have teachers. It's basically, they're kind of like just diploma mills. You know, they never really were operating, and you know, you can go on the internet, give these guys money, they'll issue you a document, and it's crap. Okay, so anyway, it was another one of these businesses where unscrupulous people came in and paid bribes in Panama to set these things up, and then they paid more bribes to be left alone. Well, Lucy's cleaning that crap up with the help of President Martinelli, and they're shutting it down. They've closed 5 of these bullshit universities in Panama that were operating in the last few months. Okay, so they're going chank, 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 and they're kicking these dudes out. Good. About time. It should have happened a long time ago. Oh, 2005? When were these things opened up? Martin Torrijos and the PRD are the guys that allowed this shit to occur. And they had like 2 different ministers of education who were arrested and thrown in prison for corruption. And now the PRD guy wants to run on a no corruption platform, which is ludicrous. All Panamanian politicians are corrupt to some degree or another, and all you can hope for is less. End rant. Okay, speaking of politicians, once again, Romulo Rux in the news. He's doing good at this. Romulo Rux is the guy who wants to be the presidential candidate for the Cambio Democrático political party, and he's doing better than any of the other 10 candidates of getting his name in the paper every day about anything. You got to get out there every day so that the perception, politically speaking, the perception becomes that you're the guy, okay? So, everybody has been saying that he's the anointed one. He's the one that's been anointed by President Martinelli. So, how do you respond to that? He says, no, I want to be anointed by the people. Good line. I mean, it's a good line for a politician. The fact of the matter is, if he does have the support of Ricardo Martinelli, then pretty much he's got the nomination wrapped up, and it's just a formality of going through the primary election as well. We'll see how that plays out. He says he's not the anointed one, and there are no anointed ones, and all of that crap. But what does anointed mean? If you've got the support of the sitting president who owns the Cambio Democrático Party, then basically you are the anointed one. Okay, so whoever, and I don't think Martinelli's come out and said I support one of these guys over the other, but I'm sure that, back channel, over a cup of coffee, all these guys know exactly what the hell's going on. So there you go. That's the whole thing about anointed ones. All right. Here in the Telemetro, on the 7th of March, a taxi driver was murdered in the area of the Machetazo in Tucuman. A security camera caught that attack. This is just a security camera that happened to be rolling that was covering the area, and it shows the bad guys coming up and, just parts of the commission of the crime. One more thing this is just the reason I picked on this was security cameras are a deterrent. That if the bad guys knew that they were going to be on security video, then they probably would not have committed this crime. So, if you put up security cameras and then put up a sign saying, if you come anywhere near these premises, everything that you do will be on videotape, and then you do that with your neighbors and you cover your entire neighborhood with 30 or 40 or however many security cameras that are recording everything from every angle, the bad guys will go somewhere else, okay? So it's one of those things that you know who spends the most time and effort and money on security? The people who have already been victimized. They close the barn door after the horse is gone. So this is the difference between intelligence and wisdom, the ability to learn from the mistakes of others. Do your investment now, ahead of time, before you could become victimized. Give yourself a budget. Say, you know what, I'm going to spend $1,000 this year on upgrading my security. I'm going to put in lighting and an alarm system and cameras. I'm going to just that much money. How much do you not need to get ripped off? I mean, one tablet You know, a cell phone and a watch. I mean, that's $1,000 right there. Video cameras. Anyway. Okay, drug trafficking. Once again, another drug bust. Every day they've been getting 700, 800, 100. Here's another drug bust. 75 kilos of cocaine in Arihan. This stuff, it adds up. You know, I mean, hey, another drug bust, 75 kilos Arihan. Every day. Boom, 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 boom. They're getting smaller loads and spread out. And that's how they're trying to move them through Panama. They can get them from Colombia, but now you've got these bigger loads, and you can't go by air. They can't go by boat anymore because the Sinan has built up and they got the radars that are being installed. So how do you get them through Panama and up into Lake Costa Rica? Smaller loads, boxes, a couple of boxes in a pickup truck, a false bottom in the back of a pickup truck. That's what all of these reports have been coming out lately. So once again, they're changing their tactics, you know, in response to what the law enforcement's doing. Okay, over in Cologne. I'm sure you've heard of this Guns for Food program that they've been doing in Panama City. You turn in a rusty old shotgun that's been under your bed for 30 years, and we'll give you coupons for food and for other things. Well, in Cologne, they're doing a variation on that theme. They're doing Guns for Jobs. You give us your old gun, and we'll hook you up with training and education and help on a resume, and we'll hook you up to get a job. Well, they got jobs. There's a lot of work going around. They can't fill them. So it's just kind of here's a way that we can get somebody to come off the streets, give us a gun, and we'll put the guy to work. Okay, maybe it'll work. I mean, if you do that with 10 people, it's you know, an improvement. Okay, if you will remember, about 8 or 9 days ago, during a storm, there was a guy that was washed off the beach in Maria Chiquita. He drowned, and they found his body. His family members were the ones that were out running around, going up and down the coast with fishermen in these fiberglass pangas, and they saw the what do you call it, vultures, and they went over and looked, and sure as hell, it was him. So anyway, I've been swimming on that beach in Maria Chiquita. But when there's storms and there's a warning and there's high tides or whatever, be careful, because, you know, even if no matter how good of a swimmer you are, the beach can kill you. Even just going to the beach. And that kid was 27 years old. I mean, he's, you know, young, good shape, you know, that kind of stuff. Tide takes you out. If you don't have a flotation device with you, and if you don't know how to deal with it, then, you know, it'll get you. All right, that is everything I've got for today, Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2013. As always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.